Welcome back to another Germany reaction video today. This one is called 20 German Words Americans Use All of the Time and Their Real Meaning. This is another video from Feli from Germany. I'll leave a link to her channel and this video in the description. So be sure to show support to the original creator. And yeah, we're going to get right into this one. I'm interested to see what these words are. I can't think of a word and think of, oh, that must be a German word that's used all the time. There might be a few that she'll mention. They'll be like, yeah, of course that's there. But yeah, let's go into it. And let me know more videos, more German videos to react to, Germany-related videos to react to on this channel. Let's go.
You have definitely used these words before in English, maybe even on a daily basis, but did you know that they're actually German?
Let's go.
Hallo, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio off and on since 2016. So a few weeks ago, I made a video about 20 English words that we use in German, and a lot of them actually have a completely different meaning in German than they do in English, like old-timer, just to give one example, which refers to an old person in English, but to German speakers, an old-timer is a vintage car. Check out the
Yeah. I might do that one as well because it sounds very interesting.
Video to find out about the other 19 English words that we use differently in German. But today I'll talk about the opposite, basically, so about German words that are used in English. There aren't nearly as many German words in English as there are English words in German, but there are actually more than you would think. And a lot of them are words that people use all the time, but they don't really know that it's a German word. And even I wasn't really aware of how many German words are used in English. So for me, it was super surprising every time I first heard someone use one of those words. Like,
see, this is kind of, I'm feeling like something I've said before. I'm like, there's some words like in German language that the word in German sounds similar to the word in English. But then there's a lot of other words where they don't make sense or they aren't similar. And it must just be because, English adopted the word from Germany. That's why it looks similar. Okay. Yeah, because I've said that before when, talking about the language. And I think similar with Dutch as well. But yeah.
Saying something in English and suddenly I'm like, wait, what? You just spoke German? So for today's video, I made a list of 20 German words that are used in English, and I just picked the ones that are either used a lot or that I just thought were funny or interesting. But before we start with the list, I'd like to introduce today's sponsor, Skillshare, which is an online learning community that offers thousands of classes.
Okay, we'll just skip the little sponsor part. Here we go, kindergarten.
Let's start with one of the most known ones, and that is kindergarten. In German, we pronounce it Kindergarten, and it literally means children's garden. And even though the word is used in a very similar way in the two languages, it's not 100% the same. In Germany, kindergarten isn't part of the school system, but it's more like a daycare. Kids can go there from the age of 3 up until they start first grade, but it's not mandatory for parents to send their kids to kindergarten, and there is no mandatory curriculum either. Some kids may practice math and writing in kindergarten, but it's not a class setting, and the focus is usually more on playing and activities like doing crafts, singing together, going on field trips and those kind of things, while in the US, kindergarten is the year before first grade, and it's part of the school system. That's why it's also called K to 12, kindergarten to 12th grade. So the kindergartens usually belong to a school and are a little more focused on academics. So same word, but different meaning in Germany and the US. And what I find funny is that the German concept of kindergarten is what Americans also call preschool sometimes, while Vorschule, the literal translation for preschool in German, basically stands for the American concept of kindergarten. So it's somewhat switched. Some
Yeah.
German kindergartens do offer a Vorschule the year before first grade to prepare the kids a little academically.
Okay.
I actually had no clue that Americans used this German word before I came here, and the first time I heard it, it sounded so funny to me. Gesundheit is what we say for bless you in German, and Americans seem to use it that way too. Especially among younger people, I found that they usually use it in a more funny way, but it can also be just used with a normal tone. The word itself actually
Here's how I got my team to use Monday Sales CRM and actually like it. Let me start by saying it's so easy to use.
just
A
means,
little ad pop up there. Go back.
but it can also be just used with a normal tone. The word itself actually just means health in German, so whenever someone sneezes,
Okay.
we wish them health.
That's good.
Just like Gesundheit, I didn't know that this word was used in English before I moved to the US. We spell it with 2 T's in Germany,
Huh.
but we pronounce it the same way, kaputt. And it basically has the same meaning in both languages. It means broken, damaged, or destroyed, as in my phone is kaputt, mein Handy ist kaputt. Or it can also mean exhausted, as in I went hiking for 8 hours today and I'm so kaputt. Ich bin heute 8 Stunden gewandert, ich bin total kaputt. And just like in German, where we say etwas geht kaputt, you also say something goes kaputt in English.
See,
And
that one is. This is one of the most familiar ones to me, and it's kind of the most obvious that it's a German word.
Another one which I love hearing in English is doppelganger, especially because it seems kind of funny to me that you would use a rather long German word that even has
Right.
an umlaut. I mean, okay, in English it's usually
yes.
written with just an A, but people could also just say look-alike or double in English. Why use doppelganger? Anyway, I think it's fun, and I think I first found out about this when I watched the American show How I Met Your Mother in English as a teenager, because that's like a whole theme on that show, to find all the main characters' doppelgangers. This one I just recently used in my video on alcohol culture in Germany and the US. And I have to say that it still feels kind of weird to me every time I use this word in English, or even when I just hear it, because it actually has a completely different meaning in German. Bierstein, or just Stein in English, refers to a beer mug, traditionally made out of stoneware, but it can also refer to the more modern glass mugs, while in German, Stein means stone, and the beer mug is called Bierkrug. Some of my German viewers actually commented on my alcohol video and told me that in some parts of Rheinland-Pfalz, in the western part of Germany, people also use the word Stein when they refer to a liter of something. So they would say, ein Stein Bier bitte, 1 liter of beer please. It seems to be a regional thing though. I had never heard about this before, and I'm curious if there is any connection to the English use of the word, but I couldn't really find anything about this, so let me know if you know more about it.
Spiel.
The next one is Spiel, and even though this has a different meaning than the word does in German, I really like the English meaning because we don't really have a German equivalent for it. In English, Spiel is a kind of speech, especially one that is long and spoken quickly and is intended to persuade the person listening about something. So this is often used in sales situations, and for example, you could say something like, oh, they gave me the whole spiel about why their university is the best in the country. In German, Spiel, capitalized, simply means game, and spielen means to play.
It's so interesting, isn't it? That German words can come into just general English speaking. Like in terms of America, I'm from Australia myself, and it's kind of similar. We are probably more similar to the UK English, but yeah, still these words are fairly common.
This one is not exactly a loan word from the German language, but it does have Germanic origins, and I included it in this list because I personally think that it sounds exactly like the German word Stuhl. But it's actually a so-called false friend because it has a different meaning in the two languages. Stuhl in German is a chair, while Stuhl in English is what we call Hocker in German. Kind of similar, but not quite the same thing. Dachshund. When Americans first used this word with me, I had no clue what they were talking about because I wasn't familiar with the word, and I also couldn't tell that it was supposed to be a German word with the English pronunciation, but now I know that Dachshund can be used in German as well, but it's actually more common to call the dogs Dackel in German. Literally, this compound word consists of Dachs, badger, and Hund, dog. A badger dog, basically. And this is because the dogs were traditionally supposed to crawl into burrows and look for badgers. In English, this can also be used to describe a Dachshund, wiener dog, but it can also refer to just a wiener sausage, or it's also often used instead of penis. In German, we say Wiener. The German W is pronounced like an English V, and it usually refers to the sausage. Wiener Würstchen would be the long version. It can also refer to a Wiener Schnitzel, which is also something to eat, or it can simply be used for a person from the Austrian city of Vienna, which is Wien in German.
Of course.
Wanderlust. This is kind of an old-fashioned German word that we pronounce Wanderlust, and it's literally the desire to wander, so it means you want to travel. The word was used a lot in the literature of the Romantic era, but you can also call this Reiselust or Fernweh in German, which the last one is also an interesting word because it's kind of like the opposite of Heimweh, which is homesickness. So Fernweh pretty much means far sickness.
Angst?
This one is very similar to the German one, but it's not 100% the same. Angst, capitalized in German and with the German A, basically just means fear. And angst in English is also related to fear, but it describes a broader feeling of anxiety and apprehension.
It's not just generally, well, again, in the English, the American way, but I feel like all English speaking countries use it in that way. It's not necessarily fear, like she's probably going to describe here with the anxiety. Especially, it's got like that same sound of the start of the word, like anxiety, angst, and that's how it just worked.
Fear, but it describes a broader feeling of anxiety and apprehension. It's often used in connection with teenagers. Teenage angst is what a lot of young people experience throughout puberty, and you can also say you're feeling angsty in English. So in English, it describes more of a general feeling, whereas in German, Angst haben means to be scared of something.
To be scared.
And that's usually something a little more specific, like you're scared of the spider. The English meaning of angst doesn't have a good translation in German, but it could be translated with something like Existenzangst or innere Unruhe or Angstzustände.
And see, that's where I probably don't understand it as much, where she described it as saying, oh, you're scared of a spider. I'm from Australia. You're not going to find too many people scared of spiders. Just off that description.
Kitsch is a concept that's really hard to explain actually, but according to the dictionary, it describes art, decorative objects, or design considered by many people to be ugly, without style, or false, but enjoyed by many other people, often because they are funny. So you could say, his home is full of 1950s kitsch. It means the same thing in German and in English, and it's also pronounced the same. There's also the English adjective kitschy, which is kitschig in German. Blitzkrieg. This is a military term and describes a strategy of warfare that includes short and fast attacks. The term is often used in connection with World War II, but it actually had been used way before that. We pronounce it Blitzkrieg in German, and it literally translates to lightning war, because Blitz is lightning and Krieg is war. It's used the same way in both languages, and they even adapted the word blitz as a tactic in American football. This seems to be a very popular word in the US. I've been asked about this so many times. And what makes it so special is that this concept doesn't even really exist in the English language, which is why there isn't an English word to describe it, which is probably quite a strong statement about the German culture. Schadenfreude consists of Schaden, which means damage or harm, and Freude, which means joy. So this is the joy that you feel when someone else gets harmed or fails. So
like That's such like a toxic word with that description. But yeah, that's interesting to me. It's like it's one word and it's got like a multiple meaning to it. Like a lot of words are just like they're like got one description, like damage or two words. Or like you got harm, joy. It's like a single word description of what it means. But this is like you can put a whole sentence together. Like just repeat what she said.
So this is the joy that you feel when someone else gets harmed or fails. So
All
not
that for
very
one
nice.
word. Fußball.
All sports fans should know this one. Fußball in German means soccer, or football in British English.
How I learned that, well, yeah, there's that, but there was like a football or soccer, football, like video game, and like, instead of football in the title, it was called, Fußball. I'm pretty sure, or it was something similar. It didn't say football. I think, yeah, it could have been that.
This one. Fußball in German means soccer, or football in British English.
Yeah.
Fußball in English refers to the bar game, which we usually call Kicker, or Tischfußball in German.
Okay.
This is another concept that doesn't have its own English translation, just like Schadenfreude, and therefore the German word is used in English and some other languages.
Another ad.
It's on. One destination for a new generation. Count on, dream on, party on.
I was just talking about Disney like 20 minutes ago. They hear everything we're saying. That's scary though. Anyway.
Just two. Americans usually,
Let's go back
therefore, the German word is used in English and some other languages too. Americans usually say Zeitgeist. In German, we pronounce it Zeitgeist. And this consists of the word Zeit, which means time, and Geist, which means spirit.
See, this is just what I said, predicted, thought would happen at the start of the video. That, yeah, there's these words that they're German words like that, but used in English, American English, whichever. There's always a crossover for me. Like I said, we go from, British English to American English. And then there's all other completely different words in German the letters they have in that word don't resemble the English word at all. But this is because, these words that are used in America, used in English, is taken from German.
So Zeitgeist is the spirit of the time, which describes what's going on culturally, religiously, and intellectually during a certain time period. Woodstock was part of the 1960s Zeitgeist, for example. And in English, they even made it an adjective, which we don't even have in German, Zeitgeisty.
Zeitgeist.
Schnaps.
Oh.
This one I also mentioned in my video on alcohol culture. In German, we spell it like this and say Schnaps, and it means hard liquor. In English, it's mostly used as part of the name of certain liquors like peppermint schnapps or peach schnapps.
Yeah.
Wunderkind in English, Wunderkind in German, and this literally translates to miracle child. Wunder is miracle, Kind is child. So
this is kind of back to the conversation of football. Like a good young player. No, not good. Like better than good. Like the top rated, youngsters. They will call them wonder kids. So it comes off that. But this is Wunderkind.
Miracle child. Wunder is miracle, Kind is child. So it describes a person that is very clever or talented and becomes successful at a young age.
Okay.
One of the most common examples for a Wunderkind is Mozart.
Okay. Yeah. So what I just said there, it's like football adapted a very similar sounding word to be suitable for it. But that's Wunderkind. That's just in general, like for anyone.
Poltergeist.
In kind of general, like who was that?
Wunderkind, miracle child. Wunder is miracle, Kind is child.
Go forward again, just
at a young age. One of the most common examples for a Wunderkind is Mozart.
Yeah, Mozart. Yeah.
Poltergeist. This looks a little bit similar to Zeitgeist. Poltern means to clatter, and Geist means ghost or spirit.
Geist.
And this particularly describes a ghost that makes noises in the house and moves objects. Whether you believe in that or not is a different story.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the final word on my list is Schmutz. This one is
Schmutz.
pronounced and used the same way in both languages, and it means dirt. And schmutzi in English or schmutzig in German means dirty.
Okay.
So this was my list of 20 German words that are used in English, and there are many, many more, of course, especially
Yeah.
regarding food, like
Huh.
pretzel, bratwurst, or Hefeweizen, just to name a few examples. If you're interested in this, you should also definitely check out the channel Kelly Does Her Thing, because she has talked about German loanwords in English too recently. Let me know in the comments below what other German words you like to use in English and what you thought of the ones that I mentioned. Were there any surprises? Do you use them differently than what I described? Feel free to share your thoughts with me and with everyone else. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my video on English words that are
Okay.
used in German as well, and also all of my videos on culture
Okay.
differences, of course.
Yeah.
And if you're not a subscriber yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel for free.
Okay, this is just the general outro stuff. Yeah, this was a really, really good video. I liked it. There was another one in there. I'm not going to go through it. It was stool. I didn't say too much when it came up, but yeah, in Australia, we use that as well. Yeah, for like a little chair or something to sit on. So I think I saw another video, and it might have been, yeah, I can't remember which one, but it's like we actually took a bit. Maybe it's because, yeah, we Australia, we get it, the language from British English, and then I'm not sure how much, British, maybe it's because, yeah, in Europe, in the same continent. But yeah, the words or how words were pronounced is how we would say it as well. On Germany's side, it was like how words were pronounced American versus German. And yeah, I was on the side of, or what sounded familiar to me is how the Germans pronounce the word and not Americans. So yeah, that was interesting. So it sounds like we take a little bit from that side, but that's because we take from England or UK. So yeah, it's interesting how all these kind of stuff works. But yeah, I really enjoy her videos. So be sure to check out her channel, which you probably have done. But if you just come across this, yeah, be sure to subscribe to her. And I'll definitely do more reactions to her videos, because she really, yeah, structures them well. And some of these German words I've heard of, but I hadn't really had a good description of them before, like ever, I don't think. So yeah, she explained it all very well. Very good video, and I enjoyed it here today. Hopefully you enjoyed my reaction. Leave any more additional words, kind of like what she said, or just more information on these words that she told us about today. And I'll see you in another video.